Hi, I'm Gert Marks from SSW, and today I want to talk CMS, right? Content Management Systems. Now, when we all started web development, we always had to write the HTML to display all the information on our web pages, whether it's an about page or just general information about our company. Whenever we wanted to make a change to that page, we had to go to the developers and ask them to hard code those changes into our web pages and then deploy that to our production server so it's visible to the general public. Now, content management systems makes that easier for us. We only have to change our content in a single place, and then the website will go and read that content dynamically once it loads. Now, there's a few options available for us for CMSs, but a lot of these use proprietary databases, meaning they store the content on their own servers. You have very limited control to what happens to that content. So if the servers go down, you will lose your content. If you want to do some versioning, it's all dependent on how they develop their product. And if you want to deploy to multiple environments, as an example, that is only something you can do if the service provides that to you. Now, this is when I found TinaCMS. TinaCMS sits on top of Git. So you have the content management system advantages, but on top of that, you also get all the Git advantages. Now, Git advantages, of course, is version control. You've got Git actions. So whenever someone deploys or makes a change to the code or to a branch, you can basically do whatever you want with that. You can kick off a deployment process. You can kick off some tests if you want to make sure that the grammar and everything is good inside the files that were changed. You basically have all the options you have with Git that you get when developing applications, you will also have for your content. Now, let's have a quick look at TinaCMS. So for the purpose of this demo, I went to tina.io. I created a cloud account and I created a project within that cloud account. So if I click on new project, you'll see that you can import your own site, or you can select one of their starter templates, which is what I did. It just gives you a web page with written in Next.js and Vercel to deploy or to host your web page on, and also makes the deployment pretty simple, just so you can have a play with it. So I've already done all those things for the interest of time. My project is called Tina Cloud Starter Template, and going through the flow of starting that project, it will create the Git repository for you on GitHub already. So if I click on configuration, you'll see that mine is in GitHub, Marxos, my account, and my repository is called Tina Cloud Starter Template. If I click on that, you can see all the code. So this is the code for my web page that I will show you in a minute. And then, of course, I also integrated Tina into this so that we can use it, which is really just this folder over here. It's pretty straightforward. I just used the command line to pop it in there and commit it to Git. And that is all set up for me now. And in my web page over here, I've got my content under pages. And we can quickly look at the home page. Let's look at the code itself. Now you can see it's got Markdown. Yay! TinaCMS provides support for Markdown fields within its content editing interface, which is great. It gives us so much control over our content. You can create and edit content using Markdown syntax, and it just looks beautiful. It just makes life so much easier. Now, what I can see is I've got the Welcome to Tina Starter by Gert Marks. Now, I don't need my name in there. This is a public website. Doesn't matter who I am. So let's go and remove that from our web page. Now, if we go back to Tina Cloud, we go to our overview. We can see that my site is now hosted on Vercel. That's all up and running at the moment. And if I click on View Site, I can see my site with the heading stating Welcome to the Tina Starter by Gert Marks. Now, to change this is really simple with Tina. All I do is I add admin to the end of my URL, and it will start up Tina within my web page. On the left-hand side, you can see I've got the inline editor, which is amazing. I can make changes right there. And as I make the changes, I've got the live preview on the right-hand side, which is really great. So I have a preview of my changes and the changes that I'm making before I actually save those changes to be deployed to production. Now, I've removed that last bit over there. All I'm going to do is hit save at the bottom here. And once it's done, it tells me that the document has now been saved. And I can see these changes, of course, in the preview. And if I go back to the actual content within GitHub, I can also see that that has now been removed. Now, this is not live on my production site yet because it's still being deployed, as we can see at the top here. This kicked off a flow, and that's, of course, what's great about GitHub. We can add as many flows and changes to it, whatever we want, but it's still deploying to production, but the changes are already in Git. Now, the advantage of that is if multiple people are making changes to that website, they will see other people's changes the moment they hit save. So if I go back to my editing screen here and I click refresh, I can see that the changes have already been applied. So if anybody else is editing this page, they will see what I see at the moment, which is welcome to the Tina starter, and with by Git marks actually being removed. But if I have to go to the actual live website, let's just say view site over here, we can see that it still has the all changes on there because it's being deployed. So this is great. We can make changes. As we make changes, other people can see those changes, and we can just continue working without having to wait for changes to be deployed to production. Now, if I go back to the code, just going to click refresh and see how our deployment's going. Yeah, it's still running. But we can see we've got Markdown over here. TinaCMS also supports MDX, which means it's Markdown with JSX, or rather JavaScript XML. And this means that users can write Markdown content that include React components, right? So that's going to give us flexibility and interactivity within the content. And the integration with Git is the part that I really like about Tina. The fact that it opens up so many options for us. It opens up version control. If you go for one of the higher tiers licenses, then you also get the editorial workflow, which means whenever you make a change, it will create a separate branch for that change. It will create a PR once you've saved, and somebody can actually go and review those changes before they commit that into the main branch, which means we get that security basically around what changes are being made to our website. We get the option to review that. You can assign specific people that have that is allowed to review those changes, and whenever they're happy, of course, they can just approve that PR. We'll go into the main branch, and then that will in turn be deployed to our production site. Now let's see how our deployment is going. There we go. So we can see TinaCMS content update has been successful. And if we go to our main page, we hit refresh, and we'll see that those changes that I made within Tina has now just been pushed straight through to production, and it's live on our site. So that is the quick demo for Tina. If you need to know more, just pop over to tina.io. We have all the information there for our cloud offerings. Of course, you can run it locally too. And if you just want to have a simple play with Tina just to see how it works, we've got a little editor over here that you can have a play with and see how it actually interacts with the website. And if you're really interested to have a chat, just click on book a demo and have a chat with one of us from the TinaCMS team. Until next time, see ya.